Perry Barnes. This is my wife, Victoria. We're both from Detroit, Michigan. I was born in Frankfurt, Germany back in '69, and we moved to the States not long after. I am the second of four children. My mother's also from Detroit. I attended Detroit schools. I met my wife in the summer of 1985, and we've been together ever since.
Hi, I'm Victoria Barnes, and I also went to Detroit Public Schools all my life. Born and raised Detroiter, and I have one sister and two brothers. My mother was a single mom, and she did what she did for us, and just always told us to strive for more, want more, and I tried to follow her advice with that. Like Perry said, we met summer of '85, and it was one of those things where you weren't really sure where you were as an adolescent just before I started high school, and for someone to be in your life at such a young age, you didn't know if it was the one or if he was the one, but 30 years later, here we are, and we're telling you our story and what we're about with Victorious Roots. Victorious Roots was a dream and something that we talked about for many years. We didn't name it Victorious Roots in the beginning. We just knew that we wanted to do more. I've worked with young girls with scouts, and that was some maybe 7 years ago. And I always talk about wanting to get back to working with young girls, young women. That I felt like that was one of the times in my life that I was able to really make an impact on others' lives. We were a part of Deliverance Temple of Faith, which the pastor who married us was there, and we were on many auxiliaries. We were on the marriage auxiliary, the youth auxiliary, and Perry was in the choir, and we were one of the younger couples in the church, and the pastor and the board really sort of leaned on us a lot to really do a lot of programs. And from that, we really felt like that this was one of the things that we were called to do, was really look at our lives as being vessels of giving back to the community and service. So with that, we finally put a name to it, Victorious Roots, and said this can encompass everything that we've always talked about doing, and share with others the vision, and bring in those of like mind that also have that same desire, and have a platform that we can share each other's ideas and goals and dreams. And
basically, what we're trying to do is give back. We're trying to share with couples and young people coming up in today's society, and try to teach them from a rooted point, a structured point. We're trying to give them something that we ourselves never had. We're trying to share a way of doing things that may work for some, maybe not for others, but at least it has a core rooted value to it, something that you can follow and say to yourself, okay, maybe that is the way to go. I've tried everything else, and this is probably, this is the way. It can't hurt to go this route and see if it works, because today we feel like too many couples, too many young adults and children alike, they just don't have that. They don't have any foundations. They don't have any role models. They don't have any structure. They don't have anyone to go to in general who they can say, hey, look, how do I navigate this? Whether it's life in general or parts of life, relationships, and several other, parts of life. So this is what Victorious Roots, or we hope that it can provide for anyone who's looking to obtain some knowledge from people who have lived it. What we hope to achieve again is to be able to provide a foundation, a source, a place that people can go to and see people who look like them, who maybe don't look like them, and it doesn't really matter, because what we're doing is providing, or attempting to at least provide, a service based on the need of not knowing what to do, not knowing where to go. We just want to come from a real place and let people know that we're not saying we're perfect. We're not saying that we have all the answers. What we're saying is that we've been able to stay together 30 years through all the trials and tribulations, and there have been many, but still we've managed to make it 30 years from a really young age to middle age status, and we're here to give back again. We're here to give back and share with people, as intelligently as possible, what it is they can try, what it is they can do, what has worked for us and others that we've communicated with, and know that, these are possibly some ways that can work for you as well.
A lot of these programs you can find within your church foundation. If you have a church or a community that you are already a part of an organization, a lot of marriage seminars and support groups, and they're within the church already. And like we said, we were on those auxiliaries in the church, but you don't find, I haven't found or heard of many that are outside of the church. And if you can take it outside of the church as well, and at some point those people seeking guidance find their way in church, then that's what the hope is ultimately. But we want to bring those marriage seminars, those marriage networking, those couple retreats outside of church, so that people don't feel like they have to start in church to get those type of services. Again, I know there's programs like this out there. We haven't run into them, so we felt like we wanted to start up a program like this. And we know that we have a lot to offer. We know that it's been called on us to do these works. And this is what was the reason that we wanted to start up an organization like this.
Well, we feel we can help because we've lived it. We've come from dysfunctional households. We've seen things that children should not be exposed to.
Absolutely.
We've come from a rough place. We know what it's like to be poor. We know what it's like to move around a lot. We know what it's like to attend the public schooling system here in Detroit. We know what it's like to deal with our peers and adults who you might think were our peers in many cases. We just, we can give back because, again, we've actually lived it, so we know where you're coming from. We're putting a friendly face on life and saying, hey, look, you're not alone, you're not the only one. Many people in general have gone through the same things that you're dealing with.
Absolutely.
And not everybody navigates through it the same way. So,
It's definitely something we've been doing already over the years. This venue, this avenue is just putting it so that it's internet, so that it's a few clicks away of getting this information. Like I said, many people have come to us over the years and asked us many of questions, and we sit down with them and we give some counsel, we give some advice, we give some direction. We've mentored young women and men. We have been a part of, programs that, feed the homeless, or in church where you sign up and you adopt a family. So these are things that we're already doing behind the scenes, but Victorious Roots is going to allow us to make it internet venue
accessible.
that we
Right.
can that we can work with people, and like I said, a few clicks away, and they can see what's going on, they can see what events are coming up, and they can click and register and join the events.
Right. We want to take it to the next level. We want to do things that you typically don't see, and we want to do them in our own way. We want to find, and come up with different ways to have different functions and events and get people out, and so they can come and they can see the community, like faces, unlike faces, and everybody's comfortable within that setting, and they can sit back and hear speeches, seminars.
Through this, we've partnered and we've encountered many people that are already reaching out as well, just like we have. We're bringing together, again, group of people that are already doing these things behind the scene, but we're coming together as an organization, as a unit, which as it should be. And like he said, reaching out to venues and hopefully being able to do conferences and seminars where we can bring speakers in. We already have people lined up saying, I want to support this, I want to come and speak to this. So it's just a matter of really putting it out there, let people know what we're doing, what we're about, and
we want to be a resource
absolutely
for everyone who needs a resource. Again, us.
something we didn't have.
Right, something we didn't have, a place to go, someone, whose ear you can bend and say, hey, this is going on, or, how do I deal with this? Because there's nothing new. Life repeats itself. It really does, and everyone's dealing with the same issues, really. The circumstances might be might be the difference, but still, it's the same issue, and everybody's just navigating through it differently. And some just have no clue because they don't know, and they've got no one, and they've never had anyone to say, hey, how do I deal with this, mom, dad? How do I deal with this, uncle, aunt? There's no seasoned married couples that are offering to guide them, and if there are, they're not sure who they are. So, that's something that we want to be able to provide, not just us, but our committee and many others that are going to take part in this as it grows.
Absolutely.